files and you would destroy record.
I see. And how many files of video and audio and transcripts and documents and affidavits do you think you'd have, rough number?
Right now I think we got around 400 audio tapes, a dozen videotapes, and maybe 30,000 documents, including 150 hard copies of emails that I was able to get.
Okay, and you have a lot of them stored on your computer?
As I'm working through it, we're trying to catalog absolutely everything and get a chronological history built of what exactly took place here. And moreover, to prove our point, we're going to, in the end, we have to find resolve. We have to stop what's going on. We have to definitely stop the withholding and the destruction of information prior to, during, and after all of our hearings, because when one side gets access to destroy, there's no way in the world that I can ever get a fair and impartial hearing. And this is what I've been saying to the Premier, all of his staff, the courts, the federal level, absolutely everybody. They all know what's taking place. But the irony for us injured workers is this withholding and destruction is legislatively approved within Alberta, and those involved in the decision-making process are paid directly by the government, including bonuses. And I believe we're the only judicial district in the country that allows people in the judiciary to earn bonuses for rendering decisions.
That sounds a little bit corrupted.
Oh, it's absolutely corrupt. The very second that you understand that you're not getting disclosure of your file, and that they do have the legislative approval to withhold and destroy your information at will, and our privacy laws give each individual that's handling any aspect of your file the lawful authority to withhold and destroy whatever they don't think is relevant. The catch is, once the information is destroyed, there's no record of it ever existing, so two complicating factors is, one, they can't prove what they destroyed wasn't relevant, and you can't prove what they destroyed was relevant. And so by obtaining these hard copies of the emails, it verifies beyond absolutely any doubt what we're saying about the withholding and destruction.
Okay, and you mentioned that you have, within 10 minutes, you have enough evidence that you could prove a lot of these allegations.
Absolutely.
Okay. You have a lot of them on that computer right in front of you.
Right now, yeah.
You have a lot of that information there, and you're going to provide Class Canada with all that information as backup, and we can also back that up for you.
Absolutely.
Perfect. Okay, if I could just get you to show me some more of your collection of evidences.
Over here, we've got what we described to the courts as our audio library. These are phone call conversations and video interviews that have been conducted for many years now, starting in 2002 for myself, coming to present day. In this collection here, we've got Frank Pagnotta's, we've got Ralph T's, and Jane Swains's material is here as well. And one thing that I've been able to establish after going through all of this material, through the photographs, through the affidavits that we've got, is the central focus of the withholding and the destruction. Once again, once it's understood that they have lawful authority to withhold and destroy your files while you're going through the process, the game is over. It's that simple.
So I'm just going to ask you, underneath this cloth, is there any more?
Starting over there is boxes of files, and there's more boxes of files underneath here that stretch all the way across.
And these all pertain to the issues regarding Workmen's Compensation Board.
Absolutely.
So
yeah, absolutely all of it. It's the case files themselves. Every piece of information that we've been able to obtain through access to information and FOIP requests. And we took all of this information to the police, and they've refused to intervene.
Why would the police be necessary?
Well, because it's unlawful to withhold and destroy people's information while you're going through a quasi-judicial or a judicial process. It should be unlawful. But for the Alberta government to put legislation in place that makes this practice lawful, this is why we need the police services involved. We've been to the privacy commissioners, the police commissions, to all levels of government, provincially and federally, demanding that somebody step in and intervene, and absolutely nobody will, very simply because the Alberta government put it in legislation that it's okay to withhold and destroy our information while we're going through the process.
Okay, so basically the police wouldn't be legally required to assist you in these matters, or are they?
Oh no, absolutely. The police themselves are the lawful authority that holds jurisdiction in Alberta, specifically over the Legislative Assembly.
But they can only intervene if it's a criminal act.
Which is true, but the fact does remain, when we approach the police with everything you see here, they absolutely refuse to take possession of any of this said material. Yet a month later, documents are released from the police that says that after they reviewed the evidence that I gave them, there are no crimes happening here. We further discovered through, and it's verified through the audio, that the police commission interfered with the criminal review that the police were initially going to conduct. We had Edmonton City Councillor that interfered and demanded that this investigation be shut down and a letter be sent to me telling me there's no crime here. But the most imperative point is, or most important point is, that they wrote a letter stating that after they reviewed what I gave them, and yet I wasn't able to give them anything. They wouldn't take any evidence whatsoever.
So it sounds to me more like the W.C.B. Isn't just the only foul play in this game right now. It sounds to me it extends and branches the other levels of government.
Oh, absolutely. We have alleged that this is criminal negligence causing bodily harm, and in some cases where people have died, I've demanded that the police review to see if there was a direct correlation between the conduct of the W.C.B. in regards to their files and to the fact that some people killed themselves, other people just died because they didn't get proper medical care. In May of 2003, former Federal Privacy Commissioner George Radwanski wrote a letter to the Alberta government outlining that if you tried to implement the privacy laws you were intending to do, he was going to stop them. Within a week, criminal charges were brought to bear against Mr. Radwanski, and 6 years later, in February of 2009, the federal court stated they had no idea why this case was ever brought against Mr. Radwanski. Upon review of what he wrote in that letter to the Alberta government, you will see his threat.
Did you have that letter right now?
I gave it to Bill. I do have a copy of it on the computer, and I can supply a copy to anybody that wants to see it, because I feel it's vitally important that people understand what Mr. Radwanski said that they were about to do. They were about to open up Pandora's box, and he actually tried to help us all. And yet, in fact, they took him out with these fraudulent criminal charges because even the federal court said the case against him was a red herring. It should never even have come forward.
Once again, the police are working against the judicial structure of what we all believe in. Instead of trying to help ensure justice, they're helping to maintain the disorder of justice.
Oh, beyond absolutely any doubt. I'm in fear of the police. I'm in fear of our elected officials because what I can prove they've done so far and what they fully intend to do in the future. And it's easy to see when they're making no attempts whatsoever to even hear anything we have to say.
But they do make attempts to work against you.
Oh, absolutely. As a matter of fact, constantly you can see through the legislation, they'll put a piece of legislation in place and then periodically they will amend it. As you follow these amendments, you're going to realize that these are not in the best interest of the citizens. So the catch is, they're not arguing. The legislation says they have the right to withhold and destroy, and they admit that they're doing it. But again, they're simply saying they're not destroying anything that's relevant. And by taking out the words from the original writings of the Meredith Principle in regards to workers' compensation and so on and so forth in regard to our privacy legislation, to take out the words shall and will, which basically demanded the government respond to us, the citizens, they replaced those words with may and relevant. We may give it to you if we feel it's relevant that you have access to it. Well, once again, the persons involved are getting paid large bonuses to play this game. And that's all it is in Alberta. It's just a merry-go-round to absolutely nowhere. Your family's going to be destroyed. My wife...
Okay, I'm going to say this, Anthony. It sounds like in this province, we are rewarding individuals for destroying other people's lives.
That is absolutely, unquestionably correct.
Okay. So once again, though, it's fair to say that some person working at the compensation board might get a nice, handsome, merry bonus, all for the purpose of making some child starve tomorrow.
That's unquestionable. It's happened to my own family.
So in your opinion, Patrick Clayton is more